Pastor Dewale, Ogawan, Truth, all the people, Peter, everybody. Thank you so much. 2 minutes after 8 here on 3FM 92.7. We'll go now into Parliament because this year's mid-year budget review will only be a statement and not a half-year budget as we have known it. The Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will have it out not come under a motion. And what does that mean? It will be a statement. What exactly does that mean? Presenting that to Parliament, the MPs can only contribute and not debate per the standing orders. This is expected to take place on Thursday, the 27th of July 2023. Komla Kluche, ahead of that conversation which we'll have with the Deputy Majority Chief Whip, Habibi Idrisu MP for Tolong, Komla put together a report. We'll share that report with you right now.
Speaker, committee also took into account that the former communication from the Finance Ministry that the mid-year budget review will be presented on the 27th of July, that's Thursday, 27th of July 2023, instead of the Tuesday, 25th of July, as announced by the Business Committee.
This is the current position of the majority as presented by the Deputy Majority Chief Whip, Habibi Idrisu. It will be the major government policy statement after going to the IMF. MPs are expecting that Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will have enough comments made on the mid-year review.
But in order for us not to be in collision course with him, because he gave a date, everybody is respecting that President Kufuor will be coming, President Mahama will be coming, President Nadu will be coming, all of us are going. Then the Speaker gave the date. Then only, it is just 4 days later, then only today for you to bring it back. We need to allow members, particularly the ranking member and the chairman of the Finance Committee, enough time for them to come out with their comments. Speaker, this is a very important media review post-IMF program. Members are not privy to the MEFP or the TMU. So, Speaker, the media review will contain this important information.
If we want the minister to come here by way of a motion, which motion will require a full debate, we should say so.
That was a report by Komla Kluche, and we will get onto the phone line shortly with the Member of Parliament for the Tolon constituency, Honorable Habibi Idrisu. He's also the Deputy Majority Chief Whip. And many people have been asking what exactly the difference will be if the minister decides not to come under a motion and it comes under a statement. Well, preliminary information which we have, and we'll dig deeper into it, is the fact that there will not be a debate, but there will rather be contributions on the floor of Parliament. What does that mean? We will get into Parliament to understand how these things work in Parliament.
3FM Sunrise. 3FM Sunrise. Free FM Sunrise. 3FM Sunrise.
At the right place, the right time.
6 minutes after 8, let's go on to the phone line now. Honorable Habib Idrisu is the Member of Parliament for Tolon. He also is part of the leadership in Parliament on the side of the majority. He is the Deputy Chief Whip. Good morning, sir. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, good morning.
Now, we understand that this year, the mid-year budget review will not come under a motion. It would rather be a statement from the Finance Minister. What does that mean?
Yes, that is the fact. The Minister will not come under a motion. It means that the Minister would not be moving a motion that needs to be seconded, that needs to be debated, and for the approval of the House. In these instances, it means that the minister is not coming with a supplementary budget. Mind you, last year, November, when we approved the 2023 budget, we had appropriated an amount of 228 billion for the finance minister to spend for the year ending 2023. So if the minister has not been able to finish or he's not asking for more than what was appropriated for him, then he doesn't need to bring a supplementary budget or estimate for us to be able to look at it. But if you look at our standing orders in Order 70, that is what the minister will come in. And then when you read Order 72, and for the benefit of your listeners, I'll read it. It says that a minister of state may make an announcement or a statement of government policy. Any such announcement or statement should be limited to facts which is deemed necessary to make known to the House and should not be designed to provoke debate at this stage. Any member may comment briefly, subject to the same limitation. So this limitation has to do with the fact that you don't have to provoke debate and other things. So that's what the minister is coming under, to make a statement, to update us what is going on after the last time that he came to Parliament for the approval of the budget. So in these instances, the minister is coming under a statement, and then he wouldn't be coming or asking for more money to spend. I am very confident that the minister might even, due to what he has restructured, might not even spend up to the 228 billion that was appropriated for him for the year 2023.
Now, don't you think that the public will be disappointed in Parliament for not having a debate because that's what they have been used to?
The instance here is not like we wouldn't be talking about it. If the minister come and just present the statement, it doesn't mean we will not comment on the statement. And like I have read out to you in Order 70, the last part said any member can briefly comment, subject to the same limitation. So many members of Parliament will be given the opportunity to the document he brought before Parliament. It's becoming a public document. So we'll speak to the statement, even if it's a statement. Even if members of Parliament make statements on the floor of Parliament, we still comment on that statement. So it's not like the minister is just coming to read the statement and go and nobody say anything. We will give it the same attention that we're supposed to give. We will debate it. We will express our views. We will talk about the position of the economy, where we are, and our colleagues from the other side who can also do the same. The only difference is that this time, the minister is not asking for money, and it is not like we are supposed to go to committees to, consider estimate of other expenditure the minister needs to make, and then we'll be able to do another appropriation for him. That is giving him another expenditure. He's within his expenditure limit, and he's making a statement to us, which we will be given ample time and opportunity to comment on that statement.
Is this as a result of the fact that we are the IMF, so this is the option that we are left with?
No, I think the minister have been disciplined. The minister have been disciplined, like I indicated. If you are appropriated a certain amount of money to spend, and you are not able to spend that kind of money, you cannot come and ask for more money. So for the fact that the minister is not coming to ask for more money, and that is the reason why he has to do. But definitely we expect that the statement should contain at least a brief or update of where we are with regards to the IMF program. But it doesn't mean when the minister is informing the House, mind you, Order 70 said that he must give us a statement of facts or policy statement by the government. So that's what he's going to read, become a policy statement of the government. That he's going to read, become the facts of what the House needs to be briefed on. And then we also have our turn to be able to comment briefly on that.
If I hear you well, you are sure that there will be no new introduction of taxes, is that correct?
What you hear me saying is that the minister wouldn't be asking for more money because he hasn't exceeded his appropriated amount. That's what you heard me say.
But there will be no new taxes because then taxes will rake in money. If he's not going to ask for extra money, it means that then no taxes. That's the inference I draw. Is that correct?
We can logically conclude that, but I'm not the Minister of Finance, and neither do I speak for him. So I cannot authentically tell you that the Minister of Finance is not bringing a new tax. But what I can tell you is that the Minister is coming under a statement, and in this case, he's not asking for any more expenditure. And for that matter, he's not expecting more money from us. So if he's not expecting more money, it means that he's within the expenditure that was appropriated for him.
Now, a few months ago, your side in Parliament, and of course the side of the minority as well, but more pronounced from your side, you held a press conference suggesting that you will not grant the Minister for Finance audience with his counterpart, Mr. Charles Edubwan, who is no longer at the ministry, to read the budget and for you to even debate the budget, because you say their Ghanaians are not too happy, your constituents that is, with how the finance ministry has been run. Fast forward, the budget has been read and heard, it's been debated and approved. The IMF deal, which was the other conditionality for him staying in office, has been reached and is currently underway. Is it time for the finance minister to go? Because he's coming before you again on Thursday, but it doesn't give any indication that you still hold on to the views of your constituents as was given to you, which gave rise to the press conference that was addressed by Honorable Apia Kubi.
I don't know the impulse of this question, but as media people, you still want to get into the truth of people. This is something that I don't think we need to comment on. It has been abandoned. The minister is doing well, and we haven't resisted it, and I don't think CTFM wants to resurrect a dead issue.
You say the minister is doing well, it's been abandoned. Is that the clarion call by your constituents? Because that was what Mr. Piakubi told us, that having conferred with constituents, I don't remember my member of parliament conferring with me to suggest that the minister is doing well and should be held.
So that is what I am just telling you, that you have just asked a question. Whilst we are concentrating on reviving the economy, whilst we try to reduce inflation, after December inflation was around 54%, we tried bringing it down to 42%. We tried to stabilize the cedi that was about 14 to 15 cedi to $1 in after December last year, which has now stabilized around 11, getting to 12 for the past 2-3 months. That is where we are, and that's what we are looking at. What you are talking about at the moment definitely is irrelevant to where we want to go to.
So if I hear you right, your side in Parliament, or if you like Parliament as a whole, has abandoned the idea of seeing the back of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta.
What you heard me saying is that we want the rebound of the economy. We have arrived at an IMF deal. The minister and the ministry is implementing it. The minister is coming with a mid-year budget review. We expect that it should reflect in that. We have seen that a lot of positive strides in terms of the macro economic indicators are working positively, and that's what you heard me saying.
So you have abandoned the call to have Mr. Ofori-Atta go as finance minister. Is that the case?
The case is that the minister is doing well. If there was any other cause for us to make a press conference, I don't think you trigger the people who made the press conference to have made the press conference. And if there's otherwise, for them to make any comments on that, they will definitely be able to make a comment. But where we are at the moment, that is the focus on the majority side. We are looking at revamping our economy. We are looking at, making business attractive to Ghanaians. We are making or working to make sure that, life becomes easy for Ghanaians, and the Ghanaian worker to be able to take care of his or her family and have a little to save. That is what we are working for.
Could these courtesies have been extended to Dr. Charles Edubwan as well, giving the space of time to also say, upon hindsight, that, well, the minister is doing well?
That is left for Charles Edubwan, and I don't think to be speaking for him.
Habib, I thank you very much indeed for your time. Grateful.
All right, thank you.
Honorable Habib Idrisu is the Member of Parliament for the Tolon constituency. You heard it first. The call for the Minister for Finance to go has been abandoned by the same people who called for it and said that it is you, the constituents, who asked them to call for it. They said that conversation was unnecessary and that now the minister is doing well. I don't know what you think. William, the minister is doing well. Very well, is he not? Oh,
some of these conversations,
why are you laughing?
Ought to be backed by figures.
Okay, but he mentioned the figures.
Yeah, that's
inflation, GDP.
Inflation from what to what?
How about you hear them, man? Did you not hear them, man? By December,
yes, yesterday, the Bank of Ghana met and decided to increase
monetary policy
from 29 to 29.5 to 30.
30, yes.
And that is what the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce is talking about. The hike in interest rates is killing the business community. And this government is just bent on trying to balance the public sector debt, or if you like, books, as against building the private sector. And no economy can thrive when the government, public sector business is doing better than the private sector. Because you are borrowing all the money from the system through all those
instruments, bonds and treasury bills
and throwing them into government business and leaving very little for the private businesses to get to run the economy. And now you go to the bank to borrow, and they are starting at 30% at even the Bank of Ghana level. So what is he talking about?
Say the minister is doing well.
The minister is doing well because IMF that he rejected has even come in. He rejected. This is a minister who said we are a proud nation, we will not go to IMF. And sometimes this is what we as citizens should observe. When the politicians speak, we shouldn't just take their word. We should look at the action on the ground and make a determination of how we want to live our lives. Because if you look at all the indications from what the MP just said and what we are feeling, I mean, I think they should give us that, if you like, respect, that we can also think through things.
The minister is doing well. That's his opinion. That's what
and that is what I'm saying.
His side in parliament thinks.
As a politician, that's why I say they are backed by numbers. And if somebody is doing well, you should look at the margins.
Yeah.
If you are,
the figures are broadcasting differently.
Yeah, I mean, even if they are making marginal increases and decreases where they need to be, how are those figures or the rates impacting the general population? How? So the how is always important. In journalism, you cannot leave the how.
Yeah.
All the 4 W's, but you cannot leave the how.
5 W's and 1 H.
You understand? So
the H.
If you say these things on radio, well...
But he actually, when I pushed further, he actually said that this conversation is unnecessary. And that we journalists, we always try to get into people's throat. Helen.
We get into people's throats.
Yes. Did I enter the man's throat?
Which conversation is unnecessary?
The conversation that I raised.
It's a very necessary conversation.
Please,
because
the chief whip says it is not necessary.
Oh no, it is. At the time that that press conference was held, spearheaded by Honorable Apia Kubi, there was a lot of energy behind it, and for good reason. Things are simply not going on well.
The minister is doing well, please.
Masa, the man is a chief whip. He's in there to do pure party work.
Yes, and we saw
Look
that.
At his title.
We saw that
Chief
pure party work.
That's the pure party work. It's not even government business.
In action at that
You know
time.
what I'm saying? That man is doing pure party work. So he wouldn't allow you to say anything that will dent the image of the party. He won't. They are going to election in 2024, and already some of these monies that are being thrown around in terms of theft and stuff in members of their parties' homes are poisoning the atmosphere for them. So he wouldn't allow you to come and say anything about the economy that will further dent their image as a party that hasn't done much.
And you recall, gentlemen, we had one honorable with us last week. I forget the name, on the side of the minority.
Right. The MP for Kumbungu. Yes, Hamza.
Yes.
Dr. Hamza.
Dr. Hamza. And he was here. And we were asking him about his experience in Parliament as a backbencher. And he made the mention that, as an individual, as part of a party and being in the House of Parliament, you make certain concessions.
Things happen so fast.
Things happen so fast. You have to compromise. And I asked him, is there also a compromise of ethics? And he danced around it a little bit. But what I got from that is the party's interest will forever supersede the
public's interest
of the MP, and by extension the interest of his or her constituents. So we move, and so on and so forth.
And his work is that as MP, if you believe in what is going on, he is supposed to whip you into line. So he can't extend that whipping
to himself.
To all of us to go according to what his party is doing or the government is doing. He can't whip us into line. I mean, he can't. We'll be in his throat. That's our work.
The way the man said it, I felt bad for a moment.
No,
inside his throat this early morning.
We'll even push down into his stomach and stay there. I mean, what kind of
The man said I'm inside this truth.
Yeah, I'm making some of these comments. You have to check the temperature in the system.
Well, this money is cool.
Long ago, that Andy Apiakubi, Member of Parliament for Asante Akim North, was leading calls for President Akufo-Addo to sack Ken Ofori-Atta as Finance Minister.
We are by this medium communicating our strong desire that the President change the Minister of Finance and the Minister of State in the Finance Ministry without further delay.
4 months after that bold call, Ken Ofori-Atta has negotiated an IMF deal pending an agreement on the domestic debt exchange, survived a censure motion in Parliament, and on Tuesday survived a reshuffle by his cousin and President Nana Akufo-Addo. Per the terms of an agreement that the New Patriotic Party members of Parliament struck with the President, they say that should not be the case and that Ofori-Atta should not be in office by now. And off the back of the recent reshuffle, Andy Apiakubi tells TV3 News it's time for the President to back his promise with deeds.
The indicators were not exactly the conclusion of the total conclusion of the IMF. The roadmaps were the passing of the budget, the approval of the appropriation, and the conclusion of the first phase of the IMF negotiation, which we have reached already. Because we have reached a conclusion at staff level. This is the first phase of it. So for all that happened during the negotiations, we have delivered as one party, as members of Parliament, and it is up to the President to also deliver as a contracting party.
Despite the fact that the Finance Minister remains in place, the MP thinks the recent replacements and reshuffle by the President is a good first step towards downsizing his government.
I believe that this is a good beginning. The expectation is that something more will happen, and probably at the time that he ends the whole program of reshuffling, we will probably see the downsizing of the government. So this is only just the beginning.
Judith Awochitando, TV3 News.
How you are doing well?
What shall I say? You are doing well. 24 minutes after 8 here. We'll take a quick break. When we return, there's more here on the Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. See you shortly.